I don't know how to pronounce this freaking champion's name, guys. FYLJA?
FYLJA.
I'm going to say FYLJA. FYLJA. Either way.
Not only do I know how to pronounce her name, FYLJA is going to be the next champion we're going to take a look at. So, thank you, Ash. I appreciate you making me. I overlooked her as well. Let's take a look at the next champion in the I Built Them series, FYLJA. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am Matt Catherine. There's another video on Raid Shadow Legends and another in our series of I Built Them so you don't have to. FYLJA is next up. This dwarf had actually just escaped the radar. I did not pull her for quite some time. I think maybe she was part of a fusion. I can't remember why because it said I had her. I didn't have her. Then I finally got her and I thought, okay, this is the time we're going to build her up. And then I watched the aforementioned Ash's video and I gotta tell ya, piqued my interest. So we're gonna do it without further ado. Here it is, the epic Magic Affinity Dwarf FYLJA. Ash, it's FYLJA. Righteous Evocation. Attacks all enemies. Fills this champion's turn meter by 15% and heals them by 15% of the damage inflicted if this attack is critical. Boon Chant. Passive. If this champion has 2 or fewer buffs at the start of the turn, places a 50% increased attack buff and a 30% increased crit damage buff on this champion for 1 turn. Crushing Eternity. Attacks 1 enemy. Has a 75, bookable to 100% chance of fully depleting the target's turn meter. Elder's Judgment. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Destroys the target's max HP by 10% of the damage inflicted. Cannot destroy a single enemy's max HP by more than 50%. Alright, there was our first look at FYLJA, and I gotta tell you, first thing I noticed is how hard she hits. This is the gear we have her in. Man, she is a top tier, top shelf champion. I have her in Savage with a couple of mixed match as well. Let's take a look at the stats. We have her 56-59 in the attack, 254 crit damage, accuracy at 223. She does manipulate turn meter, so we do want to have her to have some accuracy. We're not too worried about it. More than anything, I just want her to smack, and she is doing that, it seems, at 180 speed. And let's take a look at the Masteries. There shouldn't be any surprises here, but in case there is, let's go over it. In order to get her turn meter accuracy, I did go down the support tree. Ignore this one here. That's simply, I don't like red dots. I don't like them. I don't want them. So I get rid of them. So I picked Sniper. Doesn't do anything for her. The rest, obviously, for extra accuracy. The main thing, obviously, is this side. Whoa, this side right here. Do that every time. This side right here, the offense side, and of course, we're going crit rate into crit damage, into attacking with 100%, first hit, extra 8%, and then down to the... I thought for something different, I'd go to Helm Smasher rather than going to War Master. Obviously, I believe that she can be used in this current meta as a PvP champion. You might want to use her if you're using a live arena. People won't know what to do. And it might be worthwhile. We're going to do that with you. We're going to take her into live arena tonight at midnight. So obviously, you'll be watching this the next day. But I'm going to take her into live arena and see if I can't mess with some people's minds with her. But basically, she's probably a PvE champion. She's got a good single target, good AoE. Why don't we take her into some damage testing? We have our basis, our overall damage champion of the epics, with no smoke and mirrors involved, of course. That is Alika. We'll bring a couple other champions in, and we'll see what kind of damage she can do. One of the things I love about the hard level 10 dungeons is they're all void affinity, so I no longer have to play around with who's getting the better affinity, who's getting who. I can bring any champions I want as comparison. By the way, this is my current free-to-play Dragon 10. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like to see a video on this very free-to-play, very attainable Dragon Heart 10 team. It's not even the fastest team out there. It's like twice as slow as the fastest teams. But I have 2 Theodores, and so I'm flexing a bit. Okay, so let's get them out of here. We're gonna do all epics on this test. We're obviously gonna bring in Alika, a recently redesigned Alika. Well, we'll bring in. I always like bringing in Venus. She'll put down the debuffs, which I'm sure someone will resist, but whatever. Apples to apples here. And then we'll bring in FYLJA, obviously. Who else do we need that's going to do really good damage? We need Magnar. Magnar's got an AoE and a single target. That would be a good comparison, just to really understand the damage levels here. And feeling. Oh, so okay. Oh, who do we want as the last damage dealer? There's so many choices nowadays. Done so many, so I've built so many champions. I probably don't have most of them here. Let's bring a legendary in, because I have so many problems with. You know what? I know who we'll bring in. Let me see if he's in gear. Here's a guy that recently got buffed. He's got an all enemies. He's got a single target 4 times. Why not? We're going to bring King Garog in. Okay, so here's the scoop. We've got 3 champions in Savage, while lethal technically on our Alika. Alika's stats, she's a little bit higher stats. She's at 6,000 at 257, 244 accuracy, 180 speed. The big difference is well, her attack's almost the same too. She just has better gear. So you got to keep it with a slight grain of salt. She's got a little bit better on the attack. Well, she has the blessing too. You know, pretty close on the crit damage, accuracy similar, and speed dead on. So that's a pretty fair assessment. If I could get a 2-star, maybe, please, player him. And then we have Magnar here. Hard to judge the stats. 93, 261, 265 crit damage, 174 speed. And then finally we have the king himself, Girog, 243, 53, 16 at 289. Let's just double check. He's out of the vault. So, why is he out of the vault? So he's not in Savage. He's in Cruel, 2 Cruel pieces. So not quite the same, but he is getting at least ignoring 10%, not 20% of the defense. So let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, we just turned on super raids. Glad I could use that extra weight, extra thing. Do you think we'll be able to make it through with this team? No, we won't. I was just kidding. All right, here's the AoEs. Neither of these so her AoE isn't known as the best AoE. It's a solid AoE because it does cooldowns, and that's a fun little add-on for her. I think she's a sneaky live arena person. I think if you brought Alika in, most people would be like, what's that? People know Basher because he's been around forever, but Alika recently got reworked so that she's basically the same as Basher, except she hits way harder, but she's Force Affinity as opposed to Void. Now we'll do, is that her AoE? So her AoE is going to fill turn meter and heals by 15% of the damage inflicted if the attack is critical, which of course it is. There we go. And then we'll do this. Oh, it's going to be unfair. Well, I guess, you know what, Garog? You don't get a chance. I'll let you finish them. You could even finish the main one. So we won't get Garog's damage on the AoEs. But as you can see here, very similar to Alika. They both have a similar they have a sub thing. I would say that Alika's a little bit better, but the damage is a little bit on FYLJA's side, because remember, Alika has pretty much the same crit damage and 400 extra attack. So that 400 attack, everything else being equal, they're right in the same wheelhouse for damage. It could be Helm Smasher procs, but we're going to call it a push. Alika's cooldown ability is probably a little bit better than FYLJA's boost, and wow, that's music's really loud. See if we can bring that down a little bit. So yeah, so push there. Magnar's one of the, arguably the best epic at AoE damage, so it's pretty hard to argue against him doing that much more damage. So we're good there. Let's replay. Oh god, I did 40 again. Oh, this is why I need the test server, everybody. This is why I need. The last couple days have been rough because I've started that new free-to-play series. By the way, please, even if you're a veteran, watch the free-to-play series. It's not free to play. It's for beginners. It's a series for beginners, explaining the basic concepts of the entry level components of the game. I need that because it looks like I'm taking an absolute ass kicking on the algorithm. So if you could take care of me there, I would be grateful. Let's use Taya. We've got two of her. 243. That's going to be pretty hard to match. Now, here's the difference. She can deplete turn meter too. So she may not hit as hard, but yeah, so 150, still very strong hit. Again, it just floors me, the single target damage that Alika does. Keep in mind, Alika's ignoring defense, and I think that's a big deal, especially when you get up to hard 10, because their defense has been jacked up so much. We'll give a big womb there. Oh, hey, 135. And you'll probably kill Ty. Let's give you Liberga. Wow, you hit like a girl compared to the girls. That's not good. I thought they fixed Grog. So there you go. You've got 243 Alika, 150 FYLJA, hitting better than Magnar on that single target, plus she's depleting turn meter by 100%. And then you've got King Grog there. I don't know what he was doing. I don't think he got the memo. I mean, he's only ignoring 10% defense. I guess that's a big deal, but wow. I actually expected a harder hit than that. So now, one more time, let's edit team, take off Super Raid so I can save some of my precious energy. And again, we're going to debuff. Looks good. We're going to get the single target here. Boom. And one hit only. So that gives some hope. Just 2 hits there. Very nice double hit. And we'll go back over here. Boom. 78. Not a bad hit. Oh, wait. Let's give King... I don't know if I trust you, Grog. You've been garbage. Ooh, that's another... very weak hit. I thought they buffed him. What happened? So FYLJA out damaging everyone on the A1. Great to see that she's got such a hard hitting A1. It's a 2-hitter. Keep in mind that Alika does have a 50-50 chance of doubling up hers, so that could be close to 140,000 damage versus 100, but it's only a 50-50 chance. FYLJA is going to get that damage every single time. Magnar, still respectable. Hit more than Alika. Also can put a decreased defense on there. And Grog, again, is sad. I'm never bringing him in. I'm just making more legendaries look bad since 2019. Since the World War I, everyone. All right, so there's your damage test. FYLJA slots in very well. She doesn't quite add up to the damage that Elite can do on the single target. They're very comparable on the A. I would say over a sustained fight, I would call it a wash on the A1. I would call it a wash on the A3. Alika hitting harder on the A2. Alika is going to scale the better the defense of the enemy because she ignores half of it, whereas FYLJA doesn't. So she's only going to get Helm Smasher and, of course, her Savage Gear, whereas Alika has that basically ignoring all defense. So the more defense there is, FYLJA still has to break through half of that defense, even with a Helm Smasher proc, whereas Alika with the Helm Smasher proc and her Savage Gear is going to ignore all defense. So that's a big difference. That's the differentiator between the two. But they both do different things, right? There's a turn meter manipulation versus Alika's cooldown manipulation. I think they work well together. I think they're a tandem. And so maybe we'll just do that. So we're going to take her into a couple dungeons. And we're going to keep them together because, of course, we will. So I'll be right back with a little team to test out FYLJA's use in PvE. All right, here we are, Fire Knight. We've got the team we use with Lauren. We're replacing Lauren with FYLJA. And I pre-recorded it for ease. So here we are. You know, we've got the decreased attack. We've got her hitting. I thought this was going to be a lot faster than the other one because FYLJA hits harder. But the reality is it isn't faster. And I think some of it might be RNG. You know, some of it might not be. She's slower, and I think that was probably a mistake. I think the fact that Lauren doesn't hit as hard as her made me just speed him up to get the other stuff going, which really helped. Whereas in this particular case with her, we're trying to hit as hard as possible, so we're pretty slow. And I think the reality is her at about 210 speed would have been a better mix here. But you see the first wave is pretty good. We do get in a little trouble in the second wave, and I think it's right about here. Yeah, right here. So we've got some shields out there, but we do take some big AoE hits. Or no, we run through the shields, right? And so now we've got some issues. We take that big AoE, and then, hoi, mamma mia. But what you saw was Claude is in Guardian, and he was Coldheart's Guardian Angel there, taking enough of that damage for her to survive. All hail the Guardian set. And then from there on, we're fine. We get to the boss. Let's see, go forward. See, no issues. I do like having that increased accuracy, but I think in this particular case, it's really hard to depend on that. If you have no other option, yeah, you Claude with the increased accuracy. These guys would have, but to make sure that increased accuracy is up, and then we take the shot, that's scary. And you see there, if my Cold Heart was just a little faster, we could have probably not had the door close on us. But it looks like we're fine now. We took turn meter, and then we take a more turn meter, and now we're off to the races. And from here on, we do well. We get there, as you can see. Just easy pickings, or it didn't close again. But we do have decreased speed, decreased attack, decreased crit rate, and block heal or heal reduction, so that if it did close, we probably would survive pretty easily. So there's the final team, the final... Oh, sorry. You don't want to see it twice. There's the final hit there. 2.6 million from FYLJA. She was doing the yeoman's work on the waves. Not quite enough. Because she's only one AoE, it's not quite enough. Ultimately, if I were making this team, I'd probably want to replace Claude with something high-end nuke so that we can get rid of the waves immediately. I'm trying to figure non-seer epic teams. So I could probably make this into a seer team with, you know, putting certain gear on, maybe dumping FYLJA into immunity instead, Skimfos into something, you know, we could do that around. Claude has some buffs, we could probably do a seer team. But a non-seer, non-allure team, you just want, like, we needed survivability for this. I would have liked to have, you know, if there's a good nuking champion, say you got Vlad, right? You can put Vlad in for Ugo for that decreased defense and some way bigger AoE damage. And then instead of Claude, you would no longer need that kind of defensibility. So you could just bring another nuker in for Claude, make sure they have multi-hit A1 if possible. And you would probably get through this a lot quicker. If you needed that Skimfos, FYLJA, Cold Heart turn meter combo, Ugo and Claude are, because this is an epic team. But if you had, you know, heavy nukers with debuffs, like I said, Claude, Ugo, you could probably use Venus and Cupidus probably in that position. I gotta think. I'm sure there's other options that would work really well instead of those two. If you had the legendaries, you had the nuking power. So this is just a proof of concept that the three of them together can keep that turn meter rolling. Claude, Ugo is really about waves and really about you know, saving your butt. If you can do enough damage, you don't have to worry about saving your butt. So it's basically what I'm trying to say. All right, so there we go. I think with that, let's take it into the funnest part of this, and that is into the arena where we're featuring FYLJA and Alika. So let's hit up that next. Raid can't wait forever. See, by the way, I don't know why I'm wearing that hat today. I hand washed my toque, my beanie, so it's drying. That's my excuse. Yeah, I think we can do a little teamage here. I think we can, unless we can't. So I'm gonna. Oh, do I want to change Alika's gear? That's an interesting question. Thank you. Yeah, I think we do. For the purposes of playing like players. Let's put a team together, shall we? Let's put a team together. Okay. We're gonna change Alika's gear. This hurts my soul. I finally got her at the damage testing I wanted with her. She's really good for PvE because in PvE you can be slow, do tons of damage, and still use your skills. Not the case in PvP necessarily. So we're gonna have to make her fast. You're gonna be amazed. You're going to be amazed at how inept I am at doing that. There's our new Alika. It's our live arena. This is not live arena, but that's my live arena Alika. All right, let's see what these two can do together in the arena. FYLJA. No, I've got Ashism. All right, let's sleep them. Except for you. You don't like being put to sleep. Nobody puts Foley in a box. Okay, there we go. We locked them out. Yeah, ooh, that kind of Not used to her. She got smacked. That's okay. Okay, you're gonna pay in a minute here. Oh, let's just take you down. You're gonna. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted. Tax all enemies. Boom. Easy win. Easy clap. Easy clap. Look at this. Look at this flex team. 75. All right. These guys won't do the right thing on auto. You know they don't do the right thing on auto. You know Kymar isn't smart enough. You can't auto Kymar unless I set it up. Go to sleep. And die. Die. Easy win. Alright, here's a team that's clearly better than mine. Let's find out. Let's find out. Like, oh, I love these two. I'm gonna die. Unless we get the strip. We didn't get the strip. Okay, let's lock them out. Good, weak hits. Oh, those are one weak hit. Can we get that stripped? Nope. Beard. Wow, they really don't like her. Oh. Alright. Boom. Yeah, you know what? Like, what I'm thinking with her is she's got very strong... They both have very strong single target. All right, so there we go. Our infographic is always available in the pinned comment down below. You can download it and save it for your own, I don't know, records or whatever you're going to do. Magic Affinity Nuker FYLJA. You can see there her base stats. We do have her in Savage and Perception. That's probably what you're going to want, although take a look here. Savage, obviously lethal, cruel, perception, accuracy. You look at the stats we're talking about, 5,000 plus in her attack stat. HP, defense, secondary, just for as much survivability as you need. 210 speed, that's just a standard speed. Obviously, if you're using her in certain nuking comps for the arena, maybe you don't need her that fast. Conversely, if you're using her in hard dungeon, you're going to need her even faster. Crit capped, crit rate, crit damage 240 plus. The more the better. Balance that out with your attack. And accuracy 400. I did put asterisk that 400 if you plan on using her in the Scarab boss hard. On the Spirit Affinity, that'll work more than fine for you. You'll have to keep it to around 350 for hard mode dungeons and about 250 for the level 25 dungeon. So it just depends on where you're bringing her into. There's plenty of places where you can find out what these numbers are, like hellhades.com. He's got a bunch of different things for Doom Tower bosses and stuff that shows the minimum requirements needed for accuracy, resistance, and the like to be able to get through that content. But there she is, FYLJA. Now, of course, as always, let's end this off with final thoughts. My final thoughts, there's something about a champion that does damage that just brings more joy to a person's life than the rest. It is the nukers of this game are what makes fun. It's when you can one-shot something in the arena, in bosses fights or anywhere, it just makes you giddy. That is why a champion like Acrizia, remember the Trunda, Hype Forever, Rhodos, these are the marquee champions. Absolutely. Some of the best champions in the game have no damage at all. Yumeko, for example. Little damage, a little bit, not much damage, but one of the best, I would say, top 5 champions in the game. But there's something satisfying in your core about a nuker, and FYLJA is no different. Functionally, she doesn't work much differently than Lauren, who we did Lauren the Cutter in the previous I Built Them, and yet I had more fun with her. She was more exciting, she was more engaging, she was more usable because I wanted to use her. The reality is, she does great damage, she's got a good AoE, a good single target, depletes turn meter, usable in multiple areas, has a unique passive that gives her even more damage when she has fewer buffs. Everything about her's fun, she heals herself, you name it. Is she an endgame champion? Can she do endgame damage? She's not going to replace your single target nuker like a Rhodos in the arena. She's not there, but is she fun to use? Can she be used? Absolutely. And so if you want to, bring her out in the vault. If you need to, absolutely. She's an absolute build. She's not the best of her bunch. I think for the turn meter control, Skimfos is probably the best behind Allure. Those two are probably better off, but if you don't have either of those, or you only have one of those and you can't get the speeds, there's a bunch of reasons why you might need a secondary turn meter manipulator. And FYLJA can do the job, and she did do the job quite well. She doesn't have enough AoE damage to get through waves. We saw that. It was a 4.5 minute fight on Fire Knight. But overall, I think it's a great champion to have in your arsenal. The deal is, when you're endgame and you've been playing for 4 years, you have all the epics. I think I'm missing a handful of the newer epics replaced, but for the most part, Scramus, not on my account. My girlfriend, it's her first epic. Me, other than her free epic. Not my first, maybe it was even her first free epic. I don't even know. First epic on her account. Me, I still don't have Scramus, for example. But if you can get this champion early enough, she's gonna help you. She's gonna do damage. She's gonna do work for you. So absolutely, I will tell you, there are a couple of minor things that disappoint me with this champion. Number one, her resistance is far too low for dwarves. Dwarves, traditionally have had higher resistance. Yeah, she's not going to have 80 resistance, but she should have 50 or 60. I think that's just reasonable. And the other thing is that her attack, only 1310. I get it. Because she's got good turn meter control. I was just a little disappointed with that multiplier, because she does have good multipliers, but the base stat a little low. And her HP for a dwarf, HP dwarves, this one I don't understand, and this one I don't like. And so if there's one thing I would change, it's that. Like, you look at these champions, and you've down to 14, but you look at all the other champions in there. Geo at 15. Geo at 15 I guess he's in a sort of an attack. Rockbreaker, he's a defense champion. 18k health, 20k, 15 for Fodbor. These are the newer ones. You see all the old ones, and then you see the new ones added, and you're just like, what's going on? And I don't like Gala Longbraid's one of the older dwarf champions, 18k. That's the kind of health you should have. That's the kind of health that you should have on these champions. It's not too big of a deal because she has way better defense, but I just think, like, these dwarves that got the low health end of the stick, like even Geo, although Geo you don't have to build out for attack, which makes him a little bit unique in this, but Fodbor and FYLJA and even Berdal, it's kind of underwhelming. Dwarves should be stalwart champions. I mean, you did a legendary nuking champion with 22,800 HP. Make her HP. That's my only complaint about her. Other than that, I think she's a fun, great champion. Probably have fun building her and enjoying her. If you need her, that turn meter control is absolute clutch. So those are my final thoughts on FYLJA. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Most importantly, I have a brand new series for beginners. Spread the word. It is called Raid Made Easy. It'll have its own series. At the end of this video, there'll be a link to that playlist, as well as a link to all my I Built Them So You Don't Have to videos. So thank you for watching all of them. Thank you for supporting me, and I will be back in 1 week's time. I am out of province on a trade show, but I will be back on a week from today when this is recorded. I'm recording this, but a week from Sunday, the day I'll probably drop this video before I leave, and it's I'll be back then. We'll be back on Coffee and Raid, and then probably more videos, but we're gonna have a little bit of radio silence. I'm gonna try to do some shorts. I say that every time and I never do, but maybe this time I'll surprise you. I'll do maybe some live arena shorts, or maybe I'll do some live arena actual just regular videos. I won't be able to optimize them in the search and SEO and all that, but keep an eye for this handy baby right here doing some videos in the live arena over the week if I can get some time in between. So that's what I got for you. But as always, please be kind, be safe. We'll see you in the next video.